And joining me now is Colin Woodall, Vice President of Government Affairs for NCBA. Colin, thanks for taking a few minutes to join us here on our set.
Oh, it's always good to be with you, Kevin.
We're about a month into a new Congress and a Republican-controlled House and Senate. Are you seeing any difference in terms of how agricultural issues are being handled?
We are. Actually, we're seeing more excitement in trying to get legislation actually passed by Congress that will help us push back on all of the overburdensome regulations that we're dealing with right now. So it's exciting. We also have a lot of new members who have been appointed to both the House and Senate Ag committees who are really new to agriculture, new to this arena, but they have a passion on trying to learn what we're doing and to step up and help us because they understand that their policies, their votes that they take every day are going to have a huge impact on our livelihood.
Absolutely. You know, we've talked a lot about a number of issues over the last couple of months, but probably none more often than Waters of the United States. Give us an update on where we stand on that.
You know, the Waters of the United States proposal by the EPA has been one of the top issues for us for quite some time. The comment period closed back in November and there were over 1 million comments submitted. The only problem is about 50% of them were for the rule and 50% of them against the rule. So it really wasn't a definitive answer. So right now, the EPA continues to look at all those comments, but they are pushing forward for a final rule to implement this. We could see that final rule sometime this spring. So our salvation comes in this new Congress, especially both the House and Senate getting together and passing legislation to stop this cold, and that's what we're pushing for and that's what we're supporting.
Very good. And each year you're given an opportunity, NCBA is, to establish some priorities relative to the legislative priorities for the year ahead. What do you see as the key priorities in 2015?
Well, of course, EPA tops that list. Waters of the United States in particular.
Yep.
Outside of that, we need to make sure we are continuing to look at trade, but trade based on science. You know, we cannot expose ourselves to a foreign animal disease just for the sake of trade. We're going to talk a lot about that. We're also very focused on the dietary guidelines and what USDA and the Department of Health and Human Services are doing right now to review and revise those particular guidelines. And of course, we're also looking at tax reform. So these are all top of our list when it comes to 2015.
So I want to follow up on tax reform. Obviously, we got some relief late in the year, very late in the year. What prospects do you see of making that tax relief permanent?
We are actually very optimistic that this new Congress, since it's controlled by the Republicans in both the House and the Senate, that they are willing to move forward and actually do comprehensive tax reform to ensure that we don't have a repeat of what we went through at the end of the year. You know, all of us on the producer side, we need to make sure that we have some certainty when it comes to our tax liability, because that certainty has a huge impact on what management decisions that we make.
Sure.
So we can't allow Congress to really set up and change their mind every 1 or 2 years. So with comprehensive tax reform, we can make a lot of these provisions permanent, such as the conservation tax incentive and also the Section 179 expensing. And it also gives us an opportunity to look again at the death tax, knowing that that's still a big burden for us. So both the House and Senate are going to work on that. In fact, we're going to see some bills in February that the House will vote on, which will lead into this bigger discussion.
Very good. We've heard a lot of talk here at convention about exports, the importance of international markets.
Right.
What can you tell us about the prospects for some of these international trade agreements in 2015?
Right now, the focus is on Trade Promotion Authority, TPA. This is the ability for the president to go out and negotiate trade deals on our behalf, and it's something that the president wants, and it's something that we support and the Republicans in Congress support. We've got to get that done first. Once that vote is taken, then we'll be able to look at some of the other trade agreements that are in the queue. But really, our focus is on TPA. We can probably get that done sometime here before the first quarter is done. Then we will really race towards getting the Trans-Pacific Partnership completed, because it's so important, especially when you look at our access into Japan. To be able to get the Trans-Pacific Partnership done is a high priority as well.
Thanks for coming. It's certainly some of the most encouraging words we've heard out of Washington for some time.
We're optimistic and looking forward to it, so thanks, Kevin.
Thanks, Colin. One way you can help protect the future of the beef industry is by becoming a member of NCBA. Joining is easy to do. Just give us a call at 1-866-USA-BEEF or visit the website beefusa.org.